Have you ever wondered if the mythical beings that you loved and adored as a child were actually real? You have come to the right channel, in the right place. Tēnā koutou katoa, ko wherea toku maunga, ko kokohea toku marae, ko whakarongotai toku whare, ko ngati wharara toku hapu ngō ngā pui ahau, ko fairy wairoa tōku ingoa. Welcome to my channel! Welcome to the very first video of this channel. I'm so excited to share all the things I love to talk about. I'm going to be talking a lot about my connection with the fae, with the fairies, all mythical beings, creatures, te ao wairoa, te ao Mauri, and so much more. So if this is the kind of content you're interested in, do stick around. Today I'm going to be talking about and having a kōrero around my connection with the fae and the fairies. Woo! So wow, it's been a big journey. I can't even fit it into one video. But today I'm going to give you a snippet into who I am, what I do, and what I love. So, ever since a child, ever since I was a little kōrero, I've always been very tapped in to te ao wairoa. I could see kehua, I could see spirits, just flying around outside, even though they had already passed away. Yeah, just being very sensitive, being a very sensitive young girl. Even to this day, I'm still very sensitive to other people's emotions, to other people's energies, and very sensitive to people in relation to how people would treat their animals, how people would treat their plants, their trees. As a young girl, I remember in primary school being the one who would not be playing with her friends and instead of be bird watching. I would be just like sitting on the stairs watching the birds just do their thing in the trees. I would love to draw trees. I love to draw trees. And to this day, I still draw trees. When someone gives me a piece of paper, I either draw beautiful Mauri kōwhaiwhai patterns, or I draw trees. And then sometimes they blend into both. So, yeah, it's been a beautiful and interesting childhood. I'm very grateful. My childhood has been very lovely, very pleasant, very playful, very lighthearted, very fun. Although for all of my life I have felt very different. I have felt very alone. I have felt very just different and alone. I never felt like anyone understood me, and it wasn't until I rediscovered my fairy essence that everything made sense. Everything made sense, and I'm so grateful that in 2020 and going into 2021 I discovered this YouTube video. I believe it was by Mauri. She is a divine channeler. She's an oracle, and she had a live video with another wahine talking about the connection with fairies and trees. And I watched this video and it completely blew my mind. And that's when I realized that, whoa, I think I'm a fairy. I think I'm a fairy. Like, it just makes sense. It just makes sense. And with that came with me sitting on the toilet going in a bit of a disbelief, like in a bit of a shock. I was like, I think I said to my mate, I was like, I think I'm a fairy. I'm a fairy. She was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And I'm like, huh? Makes sense. Yeah, it does make sense. But I was like, wow, all this time, it all makes sense. Anyway, so from this video, I had a bit of awakening, and it was a specific awakening to my fairy essence. And from then, boy oh boy, it's been an absolute beautiful journey. I'm so grateful that the fairies have come into my life. I'm so happy and so grateful, because they have reminded me that magic is real. Of course magic's real. That's what they tell me. They're like, of course it is. And I'm like, oh yeah, but as a human, my human self coming into this world, I was always just so in awe of like animals and plants and mythical beings, mythical creatures. I loved fairies growing up as a kid. Like I used to dress up as a fairy and like dance as a fairy and sing with the fairies and all this kind of stuff. And then somewhere down the line, someone told me that they don't exist, that magic's not real, life is shit, that life is supposed to be hard, you need to fit in with society, you need to go get a job, you need to pay taxes, all this kind of stuff. And then slowly but surely my whānau dwindled away and my light dimmed. And I know that this has happened to every single one of us in some stage of our journey, of our haerenga. Our light has dwindled. We have felt like there is no hope, that there is no magic left. And this was me. I wasn't sure what I was doing. I remember that I was just following the crowd for a bit. I was just like such in a haze. I just was so clouded. I just was so confused. And then it all switched around when the fairies came back in. I was like, damn, this is just incredible. I'm so happy that they came to me, that the signs all came back in. So my connection with the fairies is very special to me, and it's very real to me. All the mythical beings and creatures that you loved and adored as a kid, all of them are right here with us. They walk with us. They walk alongside us. And what has happened is that somewhere in our timeline, we had opposing forces that came in to deliberately pull them out, to deliberately take away our connection with the dragons, with the fairies, with all these beautiful mythical creatures, the mermaids, the mermen. All of them are right here with us, but they tampered with our connection, and they cut out the wise woman and the wise men that already were connected with them. And this is my role, I feel, is to remind people that we can all restore our connection with the fairies. Definitely the fairies in particular, because during the time when your wairua is being dwindled, we need the energy, we need that specific energy that helps to uplift our wairua again. to bring that joy back into our lives, to bring that pleasure back in with everything we do, with every part of our life. And that's exactly what the Fae has helped me to rekindle much more fully, because I've always been a joyful, happy, bubbly soul. Always. But certain things and events in my life has made me less, or made me feel less like myself. And I had unknowingly given my power away to people, places, and things that I really didn't need to. I really didn't need to, because the power is always within. The power is always within every single one of us. And that's what I'm truly grateful for also, is that the Fae and the fairies have reminded me that I am just as powerful as them, and I hold all the power within me and all the magic within me. And that is what my journey has been, is bringing all my power back to myself. Every single last drop of it. Every single last little glittery piece of me needed to come back. Needed to fully be reclaimed within me. One of the most important things I wanted to address is this quote that I really was drawn to while watching The Lord of the Rings. So I only recently watched The Lord of the Rings this year. Crazy, I know. And the quote was at the very beginning of the movie. It was a part of the first section of the monologue. The phrase was, "History became legend. Legend became myth." And to me, this states that everything that is labeled as myth is actually history. So all of your myths and legends are actually history. They've actually happened in the flesh. It's already happened. All those stories are actually history. They are a part of our history. And what has happened is that people who labeled it as myth or legend was trying to confuse us into thinking that these mythical beings and creatures aren't even real, that they're just a figment of our imagination, that they don't really exist, and that they're just myth. But this is far from the truth. Far from the truth. We used to walk hand in hand, side by side, with all these beautiful mythical beings and creatures you can think of. They were our allies. We worked with them. We learnt from them. We lived with them. We bred with them. And this is another corridor that I'll go into in a different videos about fairy hybrids, and how you may potentially be a fairy hybrid if you are very drawn to the fairies and the fairy kingdom. A fairy hybrid is just a human mixed with fairy DNA. And this is what I believe I have, as I have fairy DNA, because my connection with the Fae is just so strong. Like, ever since I tapped back in, all of these beautiful memories and just epiphanies started popping off, just like popcorn. Just like freaking popcorn, just like pop, pop, pop. So history became legend, and legend became myth. This is a phrase that I have been pondering on for a very long time, for like a couple of months. And it really just pulls in the picture to me. Well, it actually broadens the picture as well. Because if you think about it, there's so many cultures that have these stories and these myths and legends. And specifically in Te Ao Māori, we have many pūrākau. We have many stories. And it just gets me so excited because there's one particular story about the Patupaerehe and Tūrehu. So Patupaerehe in Te Ao Māori is the Maori term for fairy folk or mythical being. There are multiple different names also. There's Patupaerehe, Tūrehu, and a couple other I cannot recall off the top of my head. But my whakaaro, my opinion about Patupaerehe and Tūrehu is they are representing the different mythical beings within Te Ao Māori, which is super cool because I am Maori and I'm also a fairy, so that'll be what I'll be diving deeper into this year, is piecing all the puzzles of the pizza putting all the pieces of the puzzle back together, because this is the thing. I do not have all the puzzle pieces of what has happened with the fairies and the fae and these mythical beings. I have intentionally made this channel to call out to all my fairy friends and all the fairy folk in this world so we can come together and put the puzzle pieces back together, because there's not just fairy folk in Te Ao Māori. There are fairy folk and mythical beings in every single culture. Every single one you can think of. There's Ireland, Wales, there's Native American, there's many. Every single one. They are probably in every single culture. There is a kōrero about them. 100%. And this is my goal, is to just spread awareness that they really do exist, and we need to put the pieces of the puzzle back together so we can actually understand who we are as fairy folk, if you resonate with having fairy DNA, and what our mission is. Because the more that we accept that they are walking right with us, they are flying right with us, and they are always constantly around us, and knowing that we already have all the tools and the ability to communicate with them at any time, the faster we can turn this world around. Just with intention and our imagination. Because particularly the fairies are experts in the realm of imagination. And according to Never, imagination creates your reality. What you focus on grows, and what you think of in your imagination is created. Thank you to all of those who have tuned into this video today. I hope this has sparked something within you or reawakened something within you, just to know that they have always been with us. They have never left us, and they're just waiting to come back and connect with us all, to make this world a better place. And if that's what you deeply feel called to do, then you definitely need to reconnect with the fairies and with the fae. They bring so much love, so much joy into your life. They've definitely done that for me. And if you feel that you truly resonate with their energy and you feel like you have fairy DNA, then comment down below being like, I think I'm a fairy. Wow. And do contact me and connect in with me. Don't be whakama. Like, I'm all about creating community, and the more of us that come together and reunite, the better it will be, and the more we can just re-invoke this love and joy and energy, and just showing them that we really want them to know that we love and appreciate them for all the mahi they do for us in the unseen. So thank you so much for those who have watched today, and I'm really grateful for starting this channel. And yeah, I hope you all have a beautiful evening. Kia pai tora, kia pai toki.